Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Coffee Chat with just Neely today. I'm sure, have noticed that Lindsay is not here. She is suffering on the beach, soaking up all of that sunshine. She's really just suffering for all of us. Yeah. She put out a video yesterday about Black Friday deals, and it looked pretty nice where she was at. And I was like, you know what? You could have invited me along. You really could have. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Patty. You get the gold star for being first in the chat this morning. Sing It is here. Hello. Risa, hello. Rick Wynn. Just saw Lindsay's video yesterday where she is indulging in vitamin D. Yeah, I guess she can just soak it all up for the rest of us. Somebody's got to do it. Take one for the team, right? Pause a lot. Hello. Let me know what you guys are drinking this morning. If you are, well, and even if it's not morning, what are you drinking? Electrolytes, coffee, tea, lemon water, like all the health nuts do. So, since I don't have Lindsay here, I need you guys to, contribute in the chat. I wanted to do a Q&A. I mean, it's a chat, Q&A, whatever. But if you have any specific questions or topics that you want to talk about, feel free to put those in the chat, and we can just kind of see where this goes. I do have a couple of questions from my recent videos, just comments from recent videos, so I can talk about that. And we can just see where the conversation takes us. Patty's having coffee with cream. Marianne is having Element. Hello, Bonita. Risa is having pumpkin cake Nespresso with adaptogens and daily minerals. That sounds delicious. Sing It should be having water. All right, go get your water and come back. It's okay. Rickwin had coffee a couple hours ago. Now drinking kombucha tea. Ooh, that sounds good. Good for the gut for me. Yes. I used to make kombucha back in the day, probably like 10 years ago at least. And I got into it, back when it first came on the scene for me. And before it was really big in stores, I was making it myself. And my husband, he was like, "Oh, that's disgusting." And he's like, "Oh, it's just like drinking vinegar." Ugh. And so I would make it and I would be the only one that would drink it. And then I got out of the habit of making it like you do. And a few years ago, my husband decided he loves kombucha now. He had it, like, for whatever reason, he picked one up and had it, and he was like, "This is the best thing I've ever had." And it's like his favorite drink. And so he's like, "Why don't you make it?" And I'm like, "I did make it, and you like made fun of me for making it and drinking it. I'm not making it again." He keeps threatening to try to make it himself, which would be interesting. So maybe that'll happen at some point. But I haven't gotten back into it. I struggle with the idea of having to keep something else alive. Doing sourdough or doing kombucha or even kefir I tried to do for a little while recently. And I was like, you have to maintain it. And I don't have it in me to maintain more than I already am maintaining at this point. Let's see. Pause a lot says third caffeine coffee with cream. Excellent. My third for the day. Well, it's probably wise to go moderate on the caffeine. So I'm having just my regular coffee with cream. It's my second one of the day, and it is full calf. I've been doing about 2 coffees a day recently, and they're both full calf. I haven't been doing any decaf because I don't really need it later in the day. That's when I would probably do more decaf. I feel fine with 2, like in the morning. It's 10 a.m. here. So second cup of coffee, 10 a.m. Doesn't affect my sleep. No worries there. So enjoying that. Let's see. Mary is having a Blue Crush Celsius. I have only tried Celsius, I think once, and I think it was a sample at Costco maybe. They're good. They're very sweet, very like or at least the one I tried, seemed very like candy sweet, which some of us enjoy every once in a while. Let's see. Okay, Mary Ann has a question about the Rudai. When doing a second batch, is it just a couple tablespoons of Rudai and inulin, nothing else? Yes. So per quart of yogurt that you're making, you're going to add 2 tablespoons of the starter yogurt, just the yogurt from your previous batch, and 2 tablespoons of inulin. I'm pretty sure I don't have, the recipe in front of me, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was. So if you're going to do, like half a gallon, then you do 4 tablespoons of the Rudai as the starter and 4 tablespoons of inulin. And it is flexible. It's like if you put in just 2 tablespoons of each into half a gallon, it probably would still work out. You might just have less of the Rudai bacteria in your end product. So I just go by what Dr. Davis, has said and do the 2 tablespoons per quart of yogurt that you're making. And you do add the inulin every time. Again, you could probably make it without the inulin, just the Rudai starter, and then the half and half that you want to make sure is pasteurized or ultra pasteurized. You probably will still get a good yogurt fermented dairy product at the end. The inulin just gives more food for the bacteria, for the Rudai to eat and reproduce more. So again, with the inulin, hopefully you're ending up with more of the beneficial bacteria that you're wanting in your end product. But there's a lot of flexibility with, making the yogurts. You can do a little less or a little more of different things, and you'll still end up with something edible. But if you just want to maximize that end result of those probiotics, I just recommend going by what Dr. Davis has recommended because he's the mastermind. And I haven't really followed his, like he talked about doing more testing of like how much bacteria is in the end product, how much of the yogurt is good to eat every day, like is more better, is there a certain amount that's optimal? Like there's a lot of unanswered questions, and I think he had said he was going to be working on it, but I have not kept up on his info there about that, so that would be interesting. A lot of people ask how much of the yogurt I eat, and I never had any like bad digestive response to it. Some people do. So I always say, don't eat a bunch of it if it's making you have gastrointestinal issues or anything like that. Like maybe go slow if you're having issues with it. For me, I went through periods where I ate like a cup a day, 2 different servings of a half a cup each time. And I did really well with that. Dr. Davis says, try doing half a cup a day. But again, he says he doesn't have definitive evidence of exactly the right amount that you need to have to get good benefits. Okay, let's see here. Let's see. Yeah, so that's the same question there from Mary. 2 tablespoons or so of the Rudai yogurt and the half and half. Yeah, and then you want to make sure that the half and half, he says the best is ultra pasteurized. And I got a question just the other day. So on my channel, the Rudai yogurt videos are by far are getting the most views on my channel right now. It kind of switched from egg white bread now to the Rudai yogurt. So that is what I get the majority of questions about, just day to day on the comments that come in. And so I am hoping to do another Q&A video about the Rudai yogurt, just because I'm getting so many questions about it. So I'm hoping to do that in a separate video and just answer some of the frequently asked questions, because there's a lot that just get asked multiple times. So I'm planning on doing that. And the half and half, that's one of the questions. The question I got just recently was, why don't you use good, wholesome raw milk for the yogurt or the fermented dairy technically? And the answer to that is actually because raw milk has good bacteria in it. And that good bacteria that's live in the raw milk competes with the L-Reuteri. So raw milk, in my opinion, is very healthy to drink to get all those that good bacteria from the raw milk is really good for your health, and we do that also. But if you're specifically wanting to culture the L-Reuteri, you kind of want a blank slate for fermenting that. And so if you put the L-Reuteri in with the raw milk and all of those good bacteria in there, it will compete and you won't end up with as much of the L-Reuteri. So that's why it's too much of a good thing to put it all together. It's better to get something that's ultra pasteurized. It's just a blank slate that this good bacteria of the L-Reuteri can multiply in and not get like crowded out, I guess. Rickwin says the kombucha tea I make is more sour than what you can buy in the store. The second ferment makes it so good when adding ginger to it. Yes, that's my husband's favorite is the ginger kombucha. I mean, I've tried a lot of kombuchas and I really do enjoy them a lot. Um, and then the longer you ferment it, the more sour and, kind of vinegary it gets, but then also the more carbs are used up. So I enjoy like sipping on kombucha like you would sip on wine. My husband will just, guzzle it like a Gatorade or something, which it's good for hydration and stuff as well. But I like to just put it in a glass and just kind of sip on it like you would wine. Let's see. Caffeine puts you to sleep. Yeah, it's so interesting the different ways different things affect people. And I haven't had caffeine in the evening for a long time, but there have been times in my life where I've had caffeine, 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the evening, and it didn't seem like it affected my sleep. But then others, they can't even have it in the morning because it affects their sleep. And it's just another one of those things where everyone has their own unique individual response, and just going off of someone else's wisdom about it, or them sharing what works for them, it doesn't always help you because your body is not the same as their body, and it can be just such a vastly different response. Okay, this is a good question from Sing It, and actually, it's one of the questions similar to one of the questions that I had pulled off of my YouTube comments. Sing It asks, "What are you calling yourself these days?" Well, Nili, first of all, are you titleless, meat-based, whole food, healthy eating? Yeah, that is a good question, and that is the same as what I was asked from Erna Juliana Primo a few days ago. She says, "Good morning. I love your videos and thank you for sharing your life and your health journey with us. I was curious, what is actually your lifestyle of eating? Is it keto, ketovore? I ask only because you had potatoes in this video. It was the What I Eat in a Day video that I did most recently. And so that's a really good question. And I wanted to talk about that here because, it's not just one thing. And I totally get when you have a YouTube channel, one thing that is really helpful in growing your channel and keeping your viewers is being really consistent. So, making a keto channel, for example, is a really great way to grow and keep your viewer base, because people that are looking for information on a keto diet are going to find your channel, and that's what they're going to stick with. When you're switching around and changing things up, people who initially found you for a certain reason, they're probably going to drop off or not click on your videos when they see that you're not doing the thing that they originally followed you for, which is completely understandable. So for me, it has been a struggle to figure out how to balance sharing what I'm doing just in my own personal health journey, and also providing good content for people, like providing content that people are wanting and that people will actually click on and are excited to see. And it's hard because those two things sometimes are in conflict. And so for me, in this past probably about a year, um, I have been changing up my diet. So whereas I was very much ketovore for the few years before that, and I gained a lot of viewers through that, my diet has shifted um, to not keto or ketovore really anymore. And so I'm still in the midst of trying to figure out what I'm doing, basically. I mean, aren't I always trying to just figure out what I'm doing in life? Um, so anyways, all that to say, it's been kind of tricky, and I understand that it can be frustrating for people when they follow a channel expecting it to be all about a certain topic and then it ending up changing. And I will point out that I have never put the word keto in my YouTube name. I feel like if I had made a keto channel, then it would be like, well, I need to kind of either change the name or abandon it and start something new. But I did not. My channel has been many different things over the years because I've been on YouTube for a very long time now. And it has evolved with just whatever I am doing at the time. And sometimes that's a diet. Sometimes that's moving from the city to the country. Sometimes that's exploring the new world of the Instant Pot when it first came out. And so I've just come through a season of sharing lots and lots about keto because that's what I was doing and um that's what I was my lifestyle. Now that that's changed, my channel, the things that you see on the channel are going to change because like I've said before, I don't have time as a homeschooling mom of well, I'm a mom of 5, but I'm homeschooling 4. Homeschooling mom of 4, I don't have time to go and create a whole bunch of extra content that's not related to what I'm already doing. This channel has always been whatever I'm interested in, whatever I'm actually doing, because that's what I have time to share. And so that it is changing and it will continue to change. So all that to say, what am I? What am I calling myself? And I don't have an exact answer for that. I feel like I am still meat based, animal based, you could say, because I do try to have meat pretty much at every meal. I mean, there are odd meals here and there where I'll have just yogurt or just cottage cheese as my protein, but I'm very protein based. Maybe we could say protein based instead of meat based, but animal based kind of covers that because you could get animal protein from yogurt, animal protein from cottage cheese and dairy and things like that. So I would say I am animal based. My carbs are coming in between 1 and 200 grams of carbs per day. Um, and so in some worlds, that's considered low carb. In the keto world, that is considered high carb. So there are some days where I would probably consider myself low carb. And like if I make a what I eat in a day video, I might still put that title in there, low carb day of eating or something like that, because it is lower than the standard American diet. I am eating a lot of whole foods. I know a lot of people that watch my channel assume that I'm not, because of products that I help promote and things like that. They assume that I eat those products, all day, every day. Um, which is, I mean, it's just kind of the perspective is skewed just because of how, influencer marketing works. I don't have, you know, Apple companies and carrot companies sending me products to showcase. So uh, I'm showcasing things that, the companies that I'm working with. Anyways, so I do eat a lot of whole foods, and I have actually found since adding more carbs into my diet, um, I'm eating more whole foods than previous. And that's partly because I'm not feeling the need to make substitutes. Like, I'm really not making egg white bread anymore, which is why you haven't been seeing it on my channel. I'm not making keto pancakes or keto cookies or keto brownies or keto treats really. It's actually like I don't feel like I need them. And partly that's because I'm just eating more carbs and that's satisfying that need. So it's like if I have an apple with my lunch, I don't feel like I need that little sweet thing at the end where I'm going and making a mug cake or something like that. So it turns out that adding in whole food carbs has actually shifted my diet more towards um, whole foods and less processed foods, which is kind of crazy. And it's not to say that you can't do keto with whole foods. Obviously, you can. And I think if you're going to do keto, that's definitely a great direction to go. I just like in observing myself and observing the, food choices that I'm making, I notice like, oh, I haven't eaten keto brick in I don't know how long. I have some in my pantry. It's just sitting there and I'm like, I just I don't feel the need to eat that because if I eat a meal that has my meat, it has my veggies, I have a little bit of either starch or fruit afterwards, I don't I just don't need it. And so I'm not using it. I mean, even Keto Chow, I'm still using it and I use it as like a convenience if I'm running out the door and I need to eat a meal in the car or something that it makes it easy, but it doesn't seem like I'm craving it as much. Because I mean there was a time when I was eating keto where I could eat a meal and then have an entire keto chow for dessert. Not that I did that regularly because that, that's a great recipe for weight gain. Um, but I felt like I could, like I wanted to. And now I just I'm not being pulled towards those things as much. I still use them when the time is appropriate, but it's just I'm not there's not a fight to moderate or, n struggle to not overconsume or whatever. I just kinda don't I'm not gravitating towards those things anymore. Um, so all that to say, I feel like I'm more whole foods, meat-based, animal-based, we'll say whole foods, animal-based. I don't even know if I need to throw in low carb because it's kind of low to moderate carb. It's just not high carb, I guess. Um, yeah. So I don't know. Is there a cute, catchy title for for that? It's just whole food animal based. Let's call it that because there's whole food plant based, and that's a thing. Although for whole food plant based, the assumption is that there is no meat. Like it's a vegetarian or vegan diet. Whereas whole food meat based, it's just meat based, but then there's plant foods on top of that. So, okay, we'll go with whole foods meat based, and then it'll be sounding so trendy and cool because it's so similar to the plant based. Okay, so I hope that answered your question. And I will say I'm still figuring it out. Like I don't know, and then that's what part of the reason I haven't been talking about my diet a ton. Like I'll do my what I eat in a day videos. Occasionally, I'm not doing a ton of them. I'm not like counting up macros and sharing all of that because I don't know what I'm doing. Like I'm just doing what's in front of me to do and trying to figure out where my body wants to be and what makes me feel my best. And I kinda I'm not teaching anybody anything. I'm trying to just figure it out for myself. Maybe one day I'll figure it out and then I'll come back and share all of my wisdom that's gonna change everybody's life. Wouldn't that be nice? But yeah, it is what it is at the moment, and I'm just living life, and that's what my channel has always been, just sharing what I'm doing. And it's not a formula, it's not um a prescription for anyone else to follow. It's just me sharing what's going on in my life. And there have been many times where I've shared what's going on in my life and then I switch and I do something different. Um, and That's just that's just me. Okay. Rickwood says, I was making, let's see, I'll put this up. I was making El Rudai yogurt, but found I react better to milk kefir. Oh, that's interesting. Have been making kefir cheese lately. Now I want to try ricotta cheese making. Oh, that sounds fun. Yeah. So with all of the different probiotics out there, and milk kefir is a really good source of a lot of different, both probiotics and yeasts, healthy yeasts. That's I was thinking mold, and I was like, mold is not the right word. It's um, yeast, and with all of these different probiotics and yeasts and things like that, it really what's going to be good for you really depends on you, and not as much on the probiotic. It's not like everyone needs this one thing. It's that depending on what you're lacking in your own microbiome, one or a different probiotic is going to be helpful or harmful. I mean, if you have an abundance of a certain one and you're adding more of that, then that's going to cause more imbalance. But if you're low on something, then um, adding, that in is going to have a really great effect. So that's really good to listen to your body. And, you tried the L-Reuteri and then you found that you really responded well to the milk kefir. And that's awesome because it's clearly there's something with the milk kefir that your body is needing. And so we all need to listen to our bodies and recognize that it has to do with where we're at. What's going to help us is as much dependent on where our body is currently as it is the thing that you're trying, if that makes sense. Okay. Risa's asking or mentioning, I was making a mixed yogurt in my Pro, the Instant Pot Pro. But my Instant Pot Pro model isn't working well, and I don't know how to make it in my Nova. Okay, I haven't had a Nova, so I'm not really sure. And there's so many different styles of Instant Pots these days and I'm not up on all of them, but from the ones that I've had, there's a couple different ways that they do the yogurt setting on the different models. One of them is where it has just a set temperature. I think you can set it to high or low. And I don't know exactly what those temperature ranges are, but you don't have that exact control. And a lot of just regular yogurts, they will ferment at a higher temperature than the El Rudai and some of the other ones that we're doing with the Dr. Davis yogurt. And so if you try to make the El Rudai and other ones in the Instant Pot with the set temperature, it might be too high and you might kill the probiotics. So you really want to know what temperature your yogurt maker or Instant Pot works at. And so there's the set temperature Instant Pots, and then there's the adjustable where you can adjust, single degrees. And that's the Instant Pot Pro has that option. But you say your Instant Pot Pro isn't working well for that. And so, yeah, in the Nova, the only thing that I'd recommend is maybe try a batch, and I'd recommend doing it dry, like no water, because that will conduct more heat. So if the temperature is higher in the yogurt setting on the Nova than you want, if you raise the jar or whatever container of yogurt higher off of the bottom of the Instant Pot and then have it dry, I think it'll lower the temperature down a little bit. And so try that, and then you can test the temperature of the yogurt and see if it's getting too hot. And that would give you a good idea in your Nova. But just try, if there's a high and low setting, try the low setting to keep the temperature as low as possible for those very delicate probiotics. Let's see. Mary says, first batch of Rudai was good, but some separation, but it tastes good. That's good. Sometimes it can taste a little weird and, cheesy, or you're like, ooh, yeah, but you're like, this is a superfood. I have to eat it. I can't just throw it away. And so it's always good when it tastes good. Second batch is going now. We'll be ready tonight at 10. That's exciting. Oftentimes the second batch is top notch. So that's going to be exciting. I will say if I have a bad batch of, and not bad, but like just not tasting great, I will feed some to my chickens. I'll also feed some to my dog. Um, and so they can benefit from those things as well, for sure. Okay. Blaze is here having a chocolate mint creamy for lunch. That sounds delicious. Marianne says, "I do a cup a day." I'm assuming that's of the Rudai. Yeah. And like I said, if you like always start slow because some people can have, pretty drastic digestive response to it. So start slow, but as long as you're feeling good on it, I don't see any reason to not go up to a cup a day for sure. Not that I'm a doctor, not that I'm recommending anything. That's just what I have done and would do myself. Let's see. Rickwin had some egg pudding for breakfast slash lunch. That sounds delicious. Pause a lot says my breakfast was bacon and a keto chow creamy made with Irish cream keto chow. Butter as fat and pumpkin pie spice added. That sounds delicious. Delicious discovery I recently made. Wonderful flavor. Yeah, that sounds really good. I haven't had an Irish cream keto chow in quite some time, but I bet that pumpkin pie spice made it really good. Let's see. Thank you, Beverly, for encouraging everyone to hit the like button. I appreciate it. Hi, Lisa from Idaho. Um, Sing It says, "Pleased to meet you, Neely." Yep, that's all I call myself. I mean, I call myself Indigo as well. You can call me Indigo. I don't mind. Um, uh, it says, "Hey, you were instant potting before." Yes. No expectations, love all content. Well, I appreciate that. And you are my favorite kind of viewer. And I totally like, I'm a viewer of YouTube as well. And I will subscribe to somebody because of a specific video that I see that I resonate with. And then it ends up that things from their channel come into my feed and it's not the same kind of thing that I resonated with. And I unsubscribe. And I totally like respect that. And no one wants to see their subscriptions go down, but I totally get it. Like it's perfectly reasonable and I don't take it personally. So if someone, is really focused on only keto and only wants to see keto recipes and they subscribe to me for egg white bread recipes and things like that and that's not what I'm delivering, I there's no hard feelings about seeing having people unsubscribe. I mean, not that I want people to, but it's totally understandable. And things go on. Like I have been on YouTube now for over 10 years. I'd have to go back and count exactly, but over 10 years. And like it's just an up and down, like roller coaster of a journey. And the way that the algorithm works and the way that just interest in certain topics go, um, there's nothing that stays the same. I mean, the only thing I can do is be consistent in putting out content, which I've tried to be fairly consistent on that over the years, even when things are changing. But it always changes. I mean, people were interested in egg white bread 2 years ago, like extremely interested in egg white bread. It was so popular. And I mean, I do still get a lot of views on those kinds of videos. So I know that there are still people looking for them, but it was like over the top. The most popular thing I would post would be egg white bread videos. It's just not the same anymore. And now I found that the videos I did about a year ago on the El Rudai yogurt, that's what YouTube is promoting right now. And I'm getting tons of views on that. Um, and it's just, that it's just the way YouTube goes. And you kind of, once you've been in it for a while, you learn to ride the waves. Cause I remember back when I when I first started getting popular was when I started sharing about Instant Pots, and that's back when Instant Pots first came on the scene, and no one was familiar with them, and everyone was searching, trying to learn how to use these miracle machines that everyone was so excited about. And so when I started posting my experience with, Instant Pots, I mean, my views, I've never since then, and that was, I don't know, 6 or so years ago. Never since then have I gotten the same amount of views as I did back then. Like, it went crazy through the roof, and then, like it always does, it went down, and I've had other times where it's gone up and down. It's never gone as high again as it did during that time. It would be, like, after Black Friday when everyone ordered Instant Pots for super cheap, on Amazon Black Friday deals, and it would be after Christmas when everyone received Instant Pots as gifts, for Black Friday or for that were probably purchased on Black Friday, and given on Christmas. So, like, January, for a few years in a row, it was just like my views would explode on, all of my Instant Pot videos would go crazy. And it's like, I still have all those same Instant Pot videos. They don't, I mean, they still get some views here and there, but it's just like you got to ride the wave. And I remember when my views started going down after that initial spike, from the Instant Pot stuff. It's kind of devastating. Like, oh my gosh, what am I doing wrong? Like, you feel like you have to maintain this level up here. And I learned really quickly that it's impossible to try to maintain those viral view counts when something goes viral, like that. It's a flash in the pan. Like, I mean, I'm talking for myself. I'm sure there are other creators out there that have figured out how to, keep that momentum forever. But for me, it's just like it happens, and you just kind of appreciate that it's happening, and knowing that it's temporary and it goes back down, and then something else will just hit the algorithm like you don't expect. Like, for me, it was egg white bread. When that hit the algorithm, I wasn't hardly even sharing about a keto at that time, because when I had shared about keto before that, I didn't really get a lot of interest in it. And then once I started sharing about egg white bread, it just exploded. And you just ride that wave, knowing that it's probably not going to be forever, which it's not. And it's really interesting, the whole YouTube life, and you just kind of learn how to ride the waves. And I've learned not to try to force things, because once you get a taste of, like, getting all those views and all that interest, it feels really good, to have people, you know, leaving all the comments, and you get, like, seeing all the views. It boosts your ego a little bit. And then, of course, when it comes back down, it's that much more devastating. But I think I've grown as a person through this to not put as much ego in when the views are going up. And then you don't have as much of a crash when the views are going down, because it's just like riding the waves. So that's a little peek into the whole, you know, mind game of what it is to be a YouTuber. And obviously I'm just one YouTuber. Everyone is different and experiences stuff differently, but it is what it is. Risa says, if your fans have been watching you long enough, they know that eating carnivore or keto wasn't working for your health. You found a way of eating that is better for your health. I'll keep watching. Well, thank you, Risa. And Risa has been a viewer for a very long time. She's been with me through all the different iterations. So I appreciate that. And yeah, it's like, part of with that whole ego thing, there's a part of me that would like to just keep sharing keto stuff because that's what people are clicking for, and keep sharing, amazing successes with stuff. But it's like, I can't do that, like I said before, because I don't have time to, like, create this whole facade, just to get the clicks. I, I have to be honest, and share what really is going on. And the changes that I make that are not great for the algorithm, but are better for my own health. Um, and you just have to recognize that you're going to take a hit in views. And so if my only motivation was YouTube fame and lots of views and lots of clicks, I would be saying a lot of different things than I am saying. But I don't have time for it. I don't have energy for it. And I don't ultimately think that benefits the viewers in the long run. So that's not the direction that I'm going. All right. Lynette is here. Hello. Good morning. Let's see. Speaking of apple and carrot sponsors, do I remember you doing Imperfect Foods, Imperfect Produce, thinking about signing up for it? Yes, I did do the Imperfect Produce. Actually, I wasn't even sponsored by them. I only shared, they have a like a referral thing that any customer can use. And all I did was share that. And that was fantastic. I don't do Imperfect Produce anymore. I kind of just fell out of the habit of it. And there are some good deals, but then I feel like they kind of expanded to being like grocery, like lots of grocery products and tons of stuff. And some of it is good deals, and then others are not good deals. So I've found myself having to really scroll through a ton of stuff and really have in my mind the prices of these things at other places to really know if it was a good deal. And so it just it stopped being worth it to take up my mental energy. I find that I get better deals by shopping sales at the grocery store. But I will say the convenience of putting your order in online and having a box delivered to your front doorstep is pretty nice. So depending on where you're at, that might be worth it. And I actually haven't looked at Imperfect Produce for a while. So I should probably go back and check and see what they're doing now and what it's like. But yeah, that's kind of the reason that I shifted away from it, is just some good deals, but you kind of had to hunt for them. And I think I can get better deals by shopping sales at the grocery store. Risa's got to go get ready for work. Thanks for hanging out. Let's see what time. Oh, it's already 42 minutes in. Let's see. Serendipity is here from Colorado. Hello. Okay. Exchange student says, did you see the 2 teaser videos for Mystery Keto Chow? Yes, I did. Yes, I sure did. So us influencers get those kind of things a little bit early so that we can make content and share it when, after it's officially announced. So I have already received my Mystery Keto Chow, and you can't order it yet. You'll be able to order it when they announce it. They're doing it a little differently than the last couple of years where you had to order it blind, where you didn't know what flavor it was going to be. This time you will know what flavor it is when it comes available on the website. But we did a taste test video. We filmed a couple of days ago, and I'll say everybody liked it. That's all I'll say. Everybody liked it. Exchange student also is asking, are you still growing and eating sprouts? I haven't recently. Like, I did several batches in a row and I kind of got sprouted out. and so I haven't had any going, but my husband was just asking for bean sprouts. And so I really need to get a batch of those going. Those are so good. I love bean sprouts in stir fries and like on salads and stuff. They're delicious and they're so easy to make. So easy. You don't even need like fancy stuff. There are 1,000 videos on YouTube about making your own bean sprouts using like a colander, different things that you can find. So definitely try that. It's super cheap. They're so incredibly fresh and delicious. And it makes me feel good. Like, I have a friend, and she was saying that they bought a bunch of sprouting seeds and beans, and have them stored in their emergency food uh, storage. And I was like, that is such a great idea because you can sprout them anytime. Super easy to sprout. And if you are in a situation where you can't get fresh food, you want to have obviously the canned food and anything dried that you can, but then to have the ability to make a batch of fresh sprouts, to have a little bit of that fresh green food in your diet if that's important to you. That's a great, a great thing to add to your emergency pantry. And I want to do that as well. I was thinking I would vacuum seal like packets of seeds and have those just stored away. I thought that was so smart. Um, okay, so Rickwin says, unless you can control the temp in your Instant Pot, the regular temp for yogurt is 110 degrees. Yeah, and so when you're doing the El Rudai, you want it to be somewhere between 100 and 100, I think 105 at the most. And so 110 is going to be too much. But like I said, if you can do something to um, lower that temperature and having no water in it, just doing it dry so that the air has to be heated instead of water being heated, that can lower the temperature. So I think that would be your best bet. And then anything that's going to raise the yogurt a little bit off of the bottom is going to, because the heat does still come from the bottom. That's going to lower the temperature. You could also try something like a different kind of lid that's a little bit vented or something like that. You just have to play with it to find what's going to work for your situation to keep that yogurt at the right temperature. And so it could be, any number of things. And it can also depend on, the ambient temperature in your house, what time of year it is. It does get a little bit tricky. But that's something you just have to play with and find what works for you with what you have. I remember back when I first started making yogurt, this is way before I knew anything about El Rudai. I was just making regular yogurt. I went through like trying to figure out what I had in my kitchen that I could use to keep the yogurt at the right temperature. And I ended up I had it was like a nonstick plug-in electric skillet that I didn't really use. I think it was a wedding gift actually. And I found that if I put that like on the lowest setting and then I had something on it, I forget what I put on it. And then I had like a bowl that had water in it. And then I had the yogurt in there. That worked to keep the temperature. Like I just worked with what I had in my kitchen. And that's what ended up being the thing. And I made gallons of yogurt that way back in the day. I made gallons. I think I even like put a towel over the top after, like, it was just this whole ordeal to get the yogurt to stay at the right temperature. And you just got to play with it until you find what works in your house with what you have. And of course, if you have the money, there are a lot of great tools that you can buy, specific yogurt makers or instant pots. Great, makes things easy, but you can do a lot with probably what you already have in your kitchen. Some people will turn on like the pilot light in their oven, and that keeps the temperature around what they need. You can also do a dehydrator, something that goes to a low temperature. I have heard that there's some kind of issue with the dehydrator that it can cause more yeast or more mold to grow, but I've done it in the dehydrator and it worked fine for me. So I don't know. That I just heard that from Donna Schwick of Cultured Food Life. She has tons of information about culturing all kinds of stuff, including the El Rudai and other yogurts. And she does even sell the powdered El Rudai starter, I believe. So she's a great resource. She has podcasts about El Rudai and all kinds of recipes and information. So if you do want, more about it, she's a really good resource. Okay, let's see. Exchange student says, can you tell me your recipe for the garnish that you make and on your What I Eat in a Day videos? Yes. It's very simple. Actually, I do all kinds of different garnish. And there's not really a recipe. I just chop up green onions if I have them. I'll chop up cilantro if I have it. I'll chop up parsley if I have it. I'll chop up red onions really, really fine. And I'll do, any combination of those. So sometimes it's just green onions and cilantro. Sometimes it's like red onion, parsley, and green onion. It's just kind of whatever I happen to have. I just find that if I take the time to chop it up, I will use it. If I come and I think right now down in my fridge is a bag that has a bunch of green onions and a bunch of parsley. And probably if I don't use it soon, it's going to go bad because I made this mistake where I came home from the store, I just threw it in the fridge thinking I'll get to it later, and I have not gotten to it later. So if you take the time, and ideally, like when you get home from the store, before you put it away, chop it up and then put it in a container. That's what makes me actually use it. So that's the recipe. Actually cut it up and then and that's it. Enjoy. And I'll put it on anything. I mean, not anything, but any meat, veggies, soups. It's great on soups. I always say with especially Instant Pot soups, when you cook a soup in the Instant Pot, you kind of end up with everything in the soup having the same texture. Everything's kind of mushy, which is good in certain things are supposed to be that way. But when you add like that pop of fresh and that pop of crunchy, like with red onions or something on top, it really like it adds a different texture. It adds that zing of flavor and that freshness. It's really good. Like that's one of the best ways to elevate Instant Pot meals is just add something else that's going to give a little bit of a different texture. Let's see. Steve from Serious Keto calls his wife Keto Plus. Yeah. Keto Plus. Yeah, because I still eat all of the keto things. um, and yeah, I think I would call Nili low carb. Yeah, and it really depends on who you ask. If you ask, the carnivore community, they'd say 150 carbs. That's crazy high. Um, but it's still considered low carb overall, I think. But yeah, it's funny with like the videos of people, I'm quitting keto, which I get because I mean names mean something and they communicate something. So I don't want to say I'm keto if I'm eating 150 carbs per day, but I'm still eating all of those keto foods. Like I'm still eating steaks, I'm still eating eggs and cheese and if I make recipes to share on the channel, some of them are going to be keto friendly because it's not like I just threw away all the keto stuff I was eating and now I'm eating all vegan stuff where someone keto could get no inspiration from it. It's like it's instead of it being like going from 0 to 100, it's like moving 20 points one direction. I'm still really close to what I was doing before. I'm just adding a little bit. So keto plus. There you go. Let's see. Okay, pause a lot thinks she's guessed the flavor. We'll see. We'll see. Yeah, Cindy, Cindy's a YouTuber also. You know the YouTube roller coaster. Exchange student thinks they know from the live last night what the new flavor is, the secret flavor is. Yeah, so they've done this. Have they done it? This is the third year, I think. The first year it was maple waffle. The second year it was chocolate malt. So, I mean, those are two solid flavors, and I think this one coming up is just as solid. I think everyone's gonna love it. Let's see. Sing It says, I came along after the Instant Pot era. Now that I have one and swear by it, I should go back and watch them for ideas. Yeah, those videos are all still there. Now, I wasn't doing keto at that time, so there's definitely cheesecakes and pasta dishes and all kinds of stuff. But there are some keto friendly because you make a roast or One popular recipe that I did was the creamy mushroom pork chops. Those are really good and keto friendly as long as you use a thickener that, is keto friendly that you're good with. Oh, Lynette wants to know what their guesses are. Let's see. Oh, yeah, sounds like Captain Crunch. Yep. That's it. You guessed it. No. I would never tell. I would never tell. Let's see. Um, I'm not sure what this is about. Here's another thing I noticed on one YouTube account. There's an 8-day-old video, and on another account, that same video shows as just released with 1/10 of the views. I noticed this on many channels. That's interesting. I don't think I have noticed that. All right, Cindy. Oh, I hope your foot is okay or your ankle. Oh, ankle is okay. Foot has some osteopenia and a healing fracture. Oh, yikes. Let's see. Thank you, Andy, for continuing to watch. Enjoy cooking, homesteading, shopping, and overall health journey. Thank you. Yeah. And, there are some consistencies. Like I was looking at my grocery shopping playlist. There's hundreds of videos in that and videos going back to when Autumn was little and I had babies and it was there because there was a time, when I didn't have a babysitter at home, and so when we went grocery shopping, we all went grocery shopping. And, there was a long period of my life where grocery shopping trips were with, 3 or 4 kids, sometimes 5 kids, and, that's fun. It's fun to look back on that. So that's one consistent thing, and I've really been enjoying doing the grocery, videos because 'cause I'd gotten out of the habit of doing that for a while. And that's been really fun to just have it be consistently every week, getting that kind of a video out. And honestly, I watch grocery haul videos. Like that's the kind of video I click on. And, from any channel really, I just find it really interesting. And I don't know what this says about me, but I just find it really interesting and fun to watch what other people buy at the grocery store. Like, I don't know why do we do this? It's funny because, I look at my kids watching Minecraft videos and stuff and just watching someone play a video game. And I'm like, what is this? Or my husband, he'll watch like survival videos where these guys are out in the woods and catching fish and cooking them on the fire or whatever. Or he'll watch, contractor videos like building like their everyday contractor life. And I'm like, that doesn't sound very fun to me. But I'm over here watching grocery haul videos. And it is really funny to see people just enjoy watching other people do the same things that they do in their everyday life. I don't really understand the whole psychology behind it, but it's something weird. It's like something weird about enjoying watching someone else go grocery shopping when going grocery shopping is a big part of, what I do to take care of my family. Yeah, it's very strange. And so that's the kind of video I enjoy watching, and I've really enjoyed getting back into the habit of doing that. And they don't get tons of views. It's not like it's an egg white bread video, that gets thousands of views, but I enjoy it. And I hope that, some weird people like me also enjoy it. Uh, all right. Let's see. So Cindy is asking, and maybe this can be the last question, unless there's others, I should probably go down. And check the bottom. Okay. Cindy's asking, how have I been feeling with my iron and such? So I have been feeling a lot better. I cannot say that my iron issues are completely fixed or resolved. I'm still, it's kind of a long process. I want to see myself be at a maintained level of something for an extended period of time, because that's another roller coaster that I've been on, is the like getting iron infusions and then having it go down. And I kind of need to see where I stabilize. And I'm still in the process of that. As far as like the numbers go and blood lab part of it. I will say I'm feeling a lot better consistently, and looking back, like, everything is so muddy with it's never just one thing. So looking back on how I was feeling with the low iron, I don't know at this point how much the hyperthyroidism was playing into how I was feeling. Because, there was a long time where I was just thinking it's the low iron that's making me feel a certain way. And then later on, I find out I'm a hyperthyroid and there's a lot of overlap with symptoms. And so I don't know how much of how bad I was feeling was from the hyperthyroidism and not directly only from the low iron. So I'm still kind of in that learning phase of like, what level of ferritin do I need to feel my best? Because I feel like the data that I had before was not it got compromised by the whole hyperthyroidism thing. So now that I have the hyperthyroidism under control, I'm kind of seeing how I feel at certain levels, waiting to see where I kind of stabilize as far as iron and ferritin. But so far, I'm feeling pretty good. Um, it's always tricky because we can get into our own heads. I can get into my own head about things where I have one symptom or one bad day and I'm like, "Oh no, my iron is crashing again." Um, and I kind of have to pull myself out of that and kind of purposely not dwell on it a lot. So I've been working on trying to do that and just focusing on all the things that I can do, which is eat nutritious food, sleep well, exercise. That's been a huge thing for me in the last several months, like moving my body, um, and spend the majority of my time focusing on those things that I actually have some control over. And, I'm keeping an eye on the other stuff like the blood labs and things, but trying not to have that be the primary thing that dictates if I'm doing okay or not, if that makes sense. Because there was a long time where it was just like, if I don't get this iron number to this level, everything is bad, and it's easy to, fixate on things like that. And I'm trying really hard now to let go of some of that control because I am learning that when it comes to ferritin, I really cannot ultimately control what my body does. Like, I can't control how much iron my body stores. All I can do is the things I can do, which is the healthy lifestyle and eat plenty of nutritious food that includes red meat and, all these things. And my body will do what it's going to do. So kind of letting go of that control and focusing on what I can do. And then again, just waiting because it is a really long process to see the effect certain things have. So I don't know. Is that answers as clear as mud? Okay. Let me see if there's any other big questions I need to touch on before we hop off here. And hopefully Lindsay will be back next week. And we can all give her a hard time for running out on us to go sit on the beach. This is from Jeanette. Hi from Ajax, Ontario. I have been watching you for years. Love your videos. Love the shopping with the kiddos. One of my favorite is with the chickens when the chicken slid off the deck. Yeah, that was so funny. And I think I like slowed it down, like slow motion, because it was on the video where I made the cottage cheese bread that was not good. It was not good at all. And I took the cottage cheese bread that was left over and threw it to the chickens and told them to go make it into more eggs. And one chicken like was late to the party and just ran and like dove and slid across the deck to get some of this amazing cottage cheese because they loved it. So Anyways, that was hilarious. That's a good memory. Um, Thank you, Jeanette. It says, there is an enormous amount of keto carnivore content to view if needed. Be unique. YouTube needs more of that. Thank you. Yes, I totally appreciate that. And it is hard because the things that there is a lot of get a lot of views. And so carnivore is very popular. So one way that I could grow my channel super fast is to say I'm going on a carnivore, 100% carnivore diet and take you along day by day on the diet and talk all about the amazing things that carnivore does for me. That would grow my channel faster than probably anything right now. Um, but we do need more unique, life stories on YouTube, and it can be really easy to get sucked into the feeling that I need to only share positive things. If I start a channel by saying I did the carnivore diet and it fixed all of my problems and I'm living my best life and I'm going to take you along and show you, follow me for more tips on the carnivore lifestyle, you really put yourself in a box of having to share only the good stuff. And I feel that because I feel the same struggle with, I don't want to share something that is negative because that's not what people are tuning in for. Like you get the views on the positive stuff. So anyways, trying to push aside that voice and just, continue to share what I actually have to offer, because ultimately I don't even have that other stuff to offer because I don't have the energy to put into creating that kind of story line. Oh yes. Rickwin, if you have a sous vide setting on your Instant Pot, which not all of them do, but a lot of them do, you can use that for the yogurt because that gives you a individual degree temperature adjustment usually. So definitely look into that. Let's see. Um, let's see. Marie asked, how do you follow along or see the hints of the new Keto Chow flavor? Okay, so I think they've put out 2 videos now, if I'm remembering correctly, and they will put them on their channel. So I believe there's some on the YouTube Keto Chow channel, and then they're also on their Facebook page and probably on Instagram as well. So just go to, any of their social media and you should be able to find those videos in their feed. They've just, released a couple of them here to give little hints, and they're cute videos too. They're always so creative, that Keto Chow team. Cheesecake in the Instant Pot is a game changer. I mean, it's like if they made an Instant Pot and sold it as a cheesecake maker, I think they would do well because it is like game changer, because in an oven it can brown the cheesecake too much, which is not what you want. It can dry the cheesecake out. When you do it in the Instant Pot, there's no browning, obviously, because you have water underneath and the steam all the way through, so it keeps like the perfect cheesecake texture through the whole cheesecake. It's fantastic. All right, guesses on the flavor: Boston cream donut or coconut cream. Very good guesses. Oh dear. Keto Chow has a YouTube channel. The hints are in their shorts, which sounds all wrong. Yeah. There was one point when we were in Texas for KetoCon. So I was with Lindsay and I was with the Keto Chow, all the Keto Chow people, and Joe and Rachel, and we were having a conversation and we were talking about YouTube shorts, and I said, "Oh, Lindsay has that. You can just go look up her shorts." And I didn't even notice it when I said it. It wasn't until later that my husband was like, So you realize you sat at the table, go look up Lindsay shorts. Like, oh, it is weird vocabulary. Okay, we gotta hop off here. We are way over time. I didn't expect I'd be able to talk so much without Lindsay. Um, oh, thank you, Kelly, for your kind comment. Um, yes, and thank you, Carmen, as well. I try to share, and sometimes I'm like, is this really helpful for people? Is this really worth sharing? But I'm like, it's what I have to offer, and I think some people enjoy it, so I'm going to keep sharing, even though it's not getting the 100,000 views like some things do, but it's what I have to offer, and I just plan on being consistent, even if it's not like a video every day, at least a video or two a week. I can do that, and I'm just going to keep doing it. And as the roller coaster goes, there will be something else that gets exciting, and that I'm really stoked to explore and share with you guys, whether it's a new recipe or a new kitchen gadget or whatever. It'll happen, but it's just, you do it long enough that you learn that that's not all the time, or at least I don't have the energy to manufacture that kind of excitement all of the time. So there you go. Okay. Um, oh yeah, the doom and gloom titles, trying to get clicks. It is, I feel for people on YouTube who, because I am the same, where you watch a video that's just titled exactly what the video is, get very low views, and then you title something with some like intrigue, or make it sound like it's doom and gloom or something like that. And I mean, the views go through the roof. And then once the views start going through the roof, then YouTube pumps it out more, and then more people see it. And it's like, it kind of feels like you have to play the game in order to be on YouTube, but I don't want to play the game. Like, it's just the clickbait. So I did hear, and I forget who it was that was saying it recently. And Lindsay and I have talked about it as well. I don't want to do clickbait, because clickbait implies that you're not getting what the title is selling. Like, you click on it and then you feel like I didn't get that video didn't deliver what I thought the title was going to, the video is going to deliver. I want to create intrigue. I don't have to put all of, like, I always give the example when I did a gender reveal video for when I was pregnant with Levi, I didn't just put "it's a boy" in the title. Like, I want people to click. So I, say gender reveal, like, click the video to find out what, if it's a boy or girl. So there is that, like, I definitely do that. But I want, when people click, I want them to feel like they got somewhat of what they clicked for. It shouldn't be like, oh, I clicked for a doom and gloom video and it turned out to be, or someone saying, I'm quitting YouTube. And then it turns out I'm quitting YouTube for 24 hours until I release my next video tomorrow. It's just like, yeah. Yeah, Cindy won't do clickbait either. I've only had my channel for about 1.5 years, if that, and now have just under 1,000 subscribers. And you know what? It's like, you'd rather have 1,000 subscribers of people who are genuinely there for what you're offering than have 10,000 subscribers for people who, were clickbaited in, or, click subscribed for a certain kind of content that's not what you regularly are able to produce, and so it's like, uh, the numbers are not the most important thing, honestly. Let's see. Michelle says, I've been carnivore for 7 months now, feeling pretty good. I'm doing it to help with Hashimoto's. That's awesome. Yeah. And yeah, as long as it's helping you, like, absolutely. And I think Nisha Berry is great to follow for that, because she has Hashimoto's also, and she has used a carnivore and ketovore lifestyle to really help her out with that. Oh yeah. Cindy Demanch, your channel is just your name, I believe. Yeah. Oh, you got it right here. Perfect. Okay. I am going to hop off here. Thanks so much for hanging out with me solo today. And next week should be back with Lindsay.